find this recording.
Don't feel better about this.
Part of the journey is the end.
For Complex News, I'm Hanuman Welch. It is finally here. After months of speculation and rumors, the first trailer for Avengers 4 has touched down, giving fans their best look at the post-decimation state of the MCU ahead of the movie's release in April 2019. The first footage for Avengers Endgame arrived 48 hours after the latest Captain Marvel trailer and revealed how the survivors have been left to pick up the pieces. The new trailer also gives us the clearest through line of how Captain Marvel, Spider-Man Far From Home, and Endgame will all connect. But before we get into that, let's dive into some of the reveals from the brand new trailer. So, Avengers Infinity War ends with Tony Stark and Nebula stranded on Titan, the last two alive after the Guardians of the Galaxy and Spider-Man and Doctor Strange crumbled to dust before their eyes. According to this new footage, Stark and Nebula took the Benatar, the Guardian ship, and presumably attempted to get back to Earth. That strategy didn't seem to go according to plan, but if you were stranded in deep space and needed to get back to Earth fast, who would be the ideal candidate to give you a tow? Just a guess, but what better way for Tony to first meet Captain Marvel than in the deep of space, nearly dead as she makes her way back to Earth, answering Nick Fury's distress call. Again, just a hunch. The other tragic component to the opening of the trailer is Stark recording a message for Pepper Potts back on Earth, not knowing whether or not she survived the decimation. Jim Starlin's classic Infinity Gauntlet comic has been the inspiration for this two-part Avengers saga. Now that story ended with the defeated Thanos embracing life as a farmer on a backwater planet, repurposing his armor to serve as a scarecrow. Infinity War twisted that fate, showing a triumphant Thanos contemplating the universe he believed he had just saved by, eradicating 50% of it. By the time Avengers Endgame starts, the world has had time to grieve its lost heroes, and we see Bruce Banner reviewing the dead and missing. We see 3 quick shots of Scott Lang, Shuri, and Peter Parker, but these could be intentionally misleading for a few reasons. One, Scott was trapped in the quantum realm at the time of the decimation, but makes an appearance at the very end of the new trailer.
Hi, is anyone home? This is Scott Lang. We met a few years ago at the airport in Germany. Got really big.
Is this an old message?
Ant-Man, I know you know that.
It's the front door.
That's me. Can you buzz me in?
So even though Scott was marked as missing, he wasn't one of the victims in the decimation, or his time in the quantum realm shielded him somehow from the Infinity Stones' power. And as we know from the events of Ant-Man and Wasp, there's no easy way out of the quantum realm unless you have someone on the human level to help rescue you. But before Scott dove into the quantum realm at the very end of Ant-Man and Wasp, Janet Van Dyne tells him to not get sucked into a time vortex, which, if judging by the rumors of cast members donning older versions of their uniforms and casting Catherine Langford of 13 Reasons Why as an older version of Scott's daughter Cassie Lang, it sure seems like we're opening the door on a whole lot of time travel. Peter Parker is also listed as confirmed dead, but it's also already been confirmed that Spider-Man Far From Home takes place after the events of Avengers 4 and sees Holland's Peter Parker traveling to Europe to tangle with Jake Gyllenhaal's Mysterio. We also know that Samuel L. Jackson's Nick Fury and Colby Smulders' Maria Hill, 2 other characters who died in Infinity War, are also confirmed to appear in Far From Home. We also know that Spidey will be getting 2 new outfits in the film, including the just revealed stealth suit. The biggest question is how Peter Parker makes it back from the dead and what happened to him after the events of Infinity War before Far From Home. We also get a hint as to Shuri's status, with T'Challa's sister listed as missing. Previously, Angela Bassett, who plays Queen Ramonda, had said that both her character and Letitia Wright's Shuri had survived the decimation. The Russo brothers, on the other hand, were very tight-lipped on whether or not she survived. We never actually see Shuri get snapped on screen, but then again, we didn't see her survive either. There's a possibility that she didn't get snapped and is missing for another reason altogether. The Avengers Endgame also gives us this shot of Hawkeye's new identity as Ronin and his first appearance in the post-Infinity War MCU.
We lost a part of ourselves.
In the Marvel Ultimate Comics, Clint Barton assumed the role of Ronin after the deaths of his family, and as Cap's VO suggests, the same will be true here as well. Presumably, Clint's wife and children vanished before his eyes, leading him to embrace the identity of Ronin. Just to twist the knife, we could also see Clint's life back on the farm with his family before the final minutes of Infinity War. So, attempting to tie all these threads together thanks to this run of new trailers, here's our working theory. Scott Lang figures out how to navigate the quantum realm and manipulate time vortexes, similar to Doctor Strange's Eye of Agamotto. He's even driving the quantum van at the very end of the trailer. So the Avengers have to go back in time and prevent Thanos from acquiring all of the Infinity Stones and undo the decimation, which explains why Peter Parker is alive and able to take to the streets of Europe in Far From Home. The final piece of this week-long reveal of Phase 3 MCU entries is how Captain Marvel will fit into Avengers Endgame. Carol Danvers has yet to appear in an Avengers movie, so we have no idea where she was during the decimation or whether or not she survived, but we do know that Nick Fury beeped her and that she'll be appearing in Avengers Endgame. Let us know what you think about one of the biggest weeks from Marvel, and for everything else, subscribe to Complex on YouTube. For Complex News, I'm Hanuman Welch.